talked quite a bit over the course of the last few days about the Dallas Mavericks and the Dallas Stars both leaving downtown Dallas, but there's an aspect of it for you, Andrew, that has caught your attention that is particularly rare in all of this.
Well, again, as a Plano native, I feel obligated to dig into this a little more, all right? And just getting past the initial shock that they're moving north, I wanted to actually get into where other stadiums are, what the price split is on all of this. So let's kick things off here with the VO50. This is an NHL Stadium breakdown. There are 15 U.S. stadiums with, again, U.S. because I wanted to keep it within the same general, like Canada has its own tax issues. It's a totally different thing. But 15 stadiums in America with an NHL team as the primary occupant. They can have PVR, they can have PWL. There are certain other leagues or college teams that can jump in there too. But the NHL is the Big Four sport that is the sole occupant, essentially, of the building.
So they don't share with an NBA team,
exactly.
Is
That's the big thing, right? 7 of those 15 have been built since 2000. So the majority of them are actually built in the 96 to 2000 range during the NHL expansion, okay? So a lot of the upfront cost of those was kind of right in the $190 million range back then. Adjusted for inflation, it was $350 to $400 million. 400 was like the most that I saw. But basically, all that being said, even amongst those figures, because we're counting the Vegas Golden Knights as one of the most recent teams that, from an expansion purposes to build their own stadium in Vegas, their cost was $375, and that was all private. So only 2 of those 15 that are sole occupant NHL teams had a upfront cost of more than $500 million. Those were the Kraken that we mentioned yesterday at $1.15 billion, and that was a renovation of an existing property. And then the Islanders at $1.5 billion. So if we could pull up VO50 here, 51 here, this is now the distance from downtown, as opposed to where these 15 teams play in relation to the city that is on their jersey. And granted, the Florida Panthers have Florida on them. That's not really Miami.
And Sunrise is very close to Fort Lauderdale, which is another
So it's like putting someone directly between Fort Worth and Dallas, basically. But they're 40 miles from downtown Miami, and most everybody lumps them into the Miami conglomerate as far as the Big Four sports teams. They're the farthest away at 40 miles. The closest stadium to them technically is either Inter Miami or Hard Rock Stadium, roughly 20 miles. They're kind of on an island in and of themselves. It's amazing that they're still around. They have an ownership deal that splits with the city. They paid $30 million in terms of renovations up front, that the city is now paying $25 million annually for the next couple of years here. So they're balancing a mixture of private and public funding. The Islanders are the most recent example of this. Being in New York, all of it is private. It's $1.5 billion, but you're still 21 miles from downtown. And as someone that recently visited New York trying to go on a stadium tour, that was the one stadium I did not visit because there wasn't a train there. You had to get a car or a bus ride to go there.
There wasn't a train to the out?
No. The only one you could the farthest one on a subway rail was Citi Field, but past that was UBS. You would have to go on a train to get to a certain point, then hop on a bus to go there, which is why I did not want to do that. So like the next time we're going to that area, I'm going to Newark,
wasn't even like
getting a car and driving in.
Route that went to Elmont?
No. Based on what we saw, it was not easily accessible. So, but that's 21 miles away from downtown New York, where most of the action happens. The Stars are third on that list at 19.9 miles, and we're already talking about transportation issues to get from downtown Dallas up there. Everyone else, 10 miles for the Wild, which St. Paul is like Fort Worth to Minneapolis, and the rest of these Hurricanes are on the fringes of Raleigh, Golden Knights are on the fringes of Las Vegas, but everyone else, when you Google search, hey, here's the stadium, here's downtown, I just want to see where it is relation, it's like, 3-minute walking distance.
And didn't, like, the Utah Mammoth are the Utah Mammoth in part because the Coyotes decided to build something that was like 40 minutes away from Phoenix, and it didn't work.
Yeah. So that is part of that. There's a whole other ownership dispute with the city that got into that whole debacle. But yeah, it's an interesting avenue that the Stars decided to go down.